At 71, Steve Howe finally began speaking more openly about the complicated history behind one of progressive rock's most influential bands, Yes. For decades, fans admired the band's soaring compositions, intricate musicianship, and ambitious albums that pushed rock music far beyond traditional boundaries. Songs like Roundabout and albums such as Close to the Edge helped establish Yes as one of the defining forces of progressive rock during the 1970s. Yet behind the beautiful harmonies and complex arrangements was a band dynamic that could be just as complicated as the music itself. As Howe has reflected in interviews later in life, the story of Yes was always a mixture of brilliant collaboration and occasional tension among strong personalities trying to shape the direction of the group. When Steve Howe joined Yes in 1970, replacing founding guitarist Peter Banks, he quickly transformed the band's sound with his unique playing style. Unlike many rock guitarists of the era, Howe drew inspiration from jazz, classical music, and folk traditions, blending them into a highly technical yet melodic approach that became central to the band's identity. His arrival coincided with a period of explosive creativity, during which the band released several landmark albums that defined the progressive rock movement. But with creativity often came intense debates about musical direction. Yes was a band filled with talented musicians who all had strong ideas about songwriting, arrangements, and the future of the group. According to Howe, these passionate discussions sometimes turned into disagreements that outsiders later interpreted as major conflicts. One of the most challenging aspects of the band's history was its constantly shifting lineup. Over the decades, Yes became known for frequent member changes, with different combinations of musicians forming new versions of the group at various times. For fans, it could sometimes be difficult to keep track of who was officially part of the band. Howe has explained that these changes were rarely simple personal feuds. Instead, they often reflected differences in musical priorities and the realities of maintaining a long-running band in a rapidly evolving industry. Some members wanted to experiment more with new styles, while others preferred to maintain the classic progressive rock sound that had originally made the band famous. Another source of tension came from the enormous expectations surrounding Yes during their peak years. Albums like Fragile brought global success and placed the band under constant pressure to deliver even bigger and more ambitious projects. Recording sessions sometimes stretched for months as the musicians pursued perfection in every note and arrangement. Howe has admitted that this relentless pursuit of excellence could occasionally lead to frustration among band members, particularly when creative visions did not fully align. Yet he also emphasizes that the same intensity responsible for disagreements was what ultimately allowed Yes to produce music that continues to resonate with listeners decades later. In later years, Howe's perspective on those conflicts has become more reflective and balanced. Rather than focusing on disagreements, he often speaks about the shared passion that drove the band to achieve something extraordinary. He acknowledges that working in a group of highly talented individuals inevitably involves moments of tension, especially when each member is deeply committed to the music they are creating. But he also points out that these challenges helped shape the band's legacy by pushing everyone to work harder and think more creatively. Today, Steve Howe remains one of the most respected guitarists in progressive rock, continuing to perform and record music well into his 70s. His dedication to his craft and his willingness to look back on the band's history with honesty have given fans a clearer understanding of what it takes to sustain a legendary musical career. The story he shares is not one of bitterness or unresolved conflict, but rather of collaboration, ambition, and the complexities that naturally arise when passionate artists work together. For fans of Yes, Howe's reflections serve as a reminder that the band's remarkable music did not come from effortless harmony alone. It was forged through experimentation, debate, and a shared determination to push musical boundaries. And in the end, those very challenges may be part of what made their sound so powerful and enduring, ensuring that the legacy of Yes continues to inspire musicians and listeners around the world.